So for the first question, what is your answer? So ang tanong natin, which of the following statement refers to law enforcement pillar of the criminal justice system? So is it Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, or Delta? Okay, so majority answered Alpha. So klaro naman ang tinatanong, the component of the criminal justice system which focuses or which means law enforcement force, that is Alpha. Okay, the police oversee compiling evidence, apprehending lawbreakers, and submitting complaints with the prosecutor. So again, for our criminal justice system, we have 5 pillars or 5 components. So that is the law enforcement, okay, the prosecution, the court, correction, and then the community. So sa Bravo, that is the function of the prosecutor. Okay, yung Charlie naman, that is the function of the court. And then Delta, the function of the correction pillar. So by the way, konting trivia, the correction pillar is focused on the reformation and rehabilitation of criminal offenders. So it is also considered as the weakest pillar of the criminal justice system. Next question. Which of the following advantages of non-institutional correction program tends to be more cost-effective than incarceration? So is it Alpha, rehabilitation focused, Bravo, cost-effectiveness, Charlie, community involvement, and Delta, reduced social stigma? So dito parang nag-iba-iba na yung sagot. Ano, may sumasagot ng Charlie, may sumasagot ng Delta. Okay, basahin natin ng maigi yung tanong. Sabi dyan, ang hinahanap natin dito is one of the advantages of non-institutional correction program. And then sabi dito, it tends to be more cost-effective than incarceration. Nandun na nga yung keyword, cost-effective. Okay, so the answer would be Bravo. Okay, so when we say cost-effective, according to study, mas mura, okay, mas mura kapag yung isang convicted offender ay mag-undergo ng non-institutional correction instead of institutional correction. Kasi nga, kapag kaya na community-based, alam naman natin na hindi na natin yan kailangan pakainin. Di ba? Makakapagtrabaho na yan at makakatulong na rin sa kanyang pamilya. So that is one of the advantage of non-institutional correction, cost-effective. Rehabilitation focus, on the other hand, it is, kumbaga para siyang nakapokus sa rehabilitation and reformation ng criminal offender. So it is considered as individualized treatment. So kapag sinabi nating rehabilitation focus, again, it is considered as individualized treatment. Community involvement, hindi na mga personnel coming from the government, yung mismong magbabantay sa mga convicted offenders, but rather merong part na yung community. And then it also reduce social stigma. Mas nababalik yung tiwala ng community doon sa mga convicted offender kapag they are serving under the non-institutional correction or community-based treatment program. Okay? Next question. So which of the following personalities was considered as the father of probation in USA? Okay, so sino yung considered as the father of probation in USA? So may konti pang naligaw, may sumagot pa ng Bravo. So sino ba yung father of probation in USA? That is no other than John Agustus. Okay, John Agustus po ang father of probation in USA. Ulitin ko lang, si John Agustus ang father of probation in USA. Si Matthew Davenport Hill naman, considered as the father of probation in England naman. okay, or also known as the father of English probation. Edward Savage, considered naman si Edward Savage as the first paid probation officer. Okay, siya yung unang binayaran bilang isang probation officer. And of course, Cesar Lombroso is the father of modern criminology. So by the way, sa Pilipinas, kilala niyo ba kung sino yung father of probation sa Pilipinas? So the father of probation in the Philippines is Teodulo Natividad. Okay? Next. So how did the benefit of clergy contribute to the development of probation practices? So is it Alpha by offering rehabilitation programs in ecclesiastical courts for convicted criminals? Bravo by ensuring offenders serve time in foreign nation as an alternative to prison. Charlie, by allowing individuals to avoid the King's Court through ecclesiastical jurisdiction. And Delta, by granting offenders the opportunity to appeal decisions in the King's Court. So, majority answered Charlie, and that is the correct answer. So, take note, these are the benefit of clergy is one of the forerunners of probation. So, ano ba yung forerunners of probation? We have the benefit of clergy, judicial reprieve, recognizance, and transportation. Okay? Sa benefit of clergy, it is considered as the first method of reducing the harshness of punishment, wherein kapag napatawan ka ng kaparusahan ng hari, pwede kang saluhin ng clergy, okay? Or ng religious group na kinabibilangan mo. Instead na patayin ka, bitain ka, or ikulong ka, okay? Minsan sinasalo na lang yan, at pinaparusahan pa rin naman. Pero ang nagpaparusa sa kanya is yung mismong religious group na kinabibilangan niya. Okay? Judicial reprieve. So it is granted, the purpose is to temporarily withhold punishment. So dahil yan ay judicial reprieve, ay ang nag-grant niyan noon previously is yung mga court natin, or ang tawag nga sa mga judge natin noon ay magistrate. Okay? So sila yung nag-grant ng judicial reprieve. Recognizance naman is, it is sometimes known as binding over for good behavior. So it is considered as the direct ancestor of probation. Okay? So recognizance, nakakalaya ang isang tao by means of pledge. Okay? Then transportation, also known as banishment. So ito naman, instead na bitayin, yan, pinapatapon na lang sa ibang lugar at ginagawa pa, kumbaga binibenta para maging mga alipin. Okay? That is transportation or banishment. Next question. A first-time offender convicted of a non-violent crime is granted probation. So what is the most likely benefit of this decision? So is it Alpha? It prevents the offender from becoming a hardened criminal by avoiding exposure to a prison environment. Bravo, it ensures that the offender's punishment is equivalent to that of repeat offenders. Charlie, it removes the need for any form of supervision or monitoring of the offender's behavior. And Delta, it guarantees that the offender will not commit another crime in the future. Okay, so if a first-time offender convicted of a non-violent crime is granted probation, so ano kaya yung magiging benefit niyan? Okay, so majority are correct. The answer would be Alpha. So that is one of the purpose of granting probation. It prevents the offender from becoming a hardened criminal by avoiding exposure to a prison environment. Kasi nga, as a general rule, ang nabibigyan lang talaga ng probation is yung mga merong non-violent crime. Kaya nga meron tayong benchmark, di ba, when it comes to penalty of imprisonment, kung sino lang yung po pwedeng mabigyan ng probation. And our benchmark for penalty of imprisonment is 6 years exact and below. Okay? So hindi po pwedeng maging sagot yung Bravo. Okay? Hindi rin, of course, hindi rin po pwedeng maging sagot yung Charlie kasi hindi naman natin nire-remove yung supervision or monitoring kapag ka nag-grant tayo ng probation. And then Delta is also not the answer because we cannot guarantee. Kahit naman yan ay institutional or non-institutional, we cannot guarantee if the offender will not commit another crime in the future. Okay, that's why the answer is Alpha. Next question. So given the objectives of PD 968, which of the following situations contradicts the intended purpose of probation? So is it alpha, a judge grants probation to an offender who shows remorse and has committed a minor offense? Bravo, a court denies probation to a repeat offender with a history of violent crimes? Charlie, a probationer is allowed to work and support his family while under close supervision? And Delta, a first-time offender is denied probation despite being eligible and showing signs of reformation. So majority answered Delta. So balikan natin yung tanong, sabi dyan, which of the following situations contradicts the intended purpose of probation? Okay, so yung alpha, hindi niya naman kinokontradict kasi hindi talaga po pwedeng bigyan ng probation yung mga offender na hindi nagpapakita ng remorse or pagsisisi sa kanilang nagawang kasalanan. So yung Bravo, hindi rin siya nag-contradict kasi nga repeat offender na yan with a history of violent crime. So hindi rin po pwedeng maging sagot yung Delta kasi hindi siya contradicting. Yung Charlie, at the same time, okay, hindi rin siya po pwedeng maging sagot. So the answer would be Delta. Okay, so ano lang yung magiging contradicting? So contradicting yung Delta natin because if a person or if a convicted individual is eligible and then showing signs of reformation, kailangan ay po pwedeng mabigyan yan ng probation. So yung Delta yung nag-contradict. Okay? Next one. Which of the following explains how probation benefits both the offender and society? Okay, so which among the choices explains how probation benefits both the offender and society? Is it alpha? Probation guarantees the complete rehabilitation of offenders by isolating them from their communities. Bravo. Probation helps the offender maintain his earning power while reducing the burden on society by lowering incarceration costs. Charlie, probation ensures that all offenders regardless of their crime ayan, naririnig pa ba ako? Emoji nga kung narinig pa ako. Ayan, so anong sagot nyo dito? Is it Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, or Delta? Again, the question, which of the following explains how probation benefits both the offender and society? Okay, so majority got the correct answer. Of course, the answer would be Bravo. Okay, so bakit hindi po pwedeng magiging sagot yung alpha? Okay, so probation, take note, it does not guarantee complete rehabilitation of offenders at hindi natin sila ina-isolate okay, doon sa community. So probation does also not ensure that all offenders, regardless of their crime, are given immediate reintegration into society. Okay? And then of course, hindi natin ina-avoid yung pag-deal sa mga repeat offenders. So therefore, the answer for this question would be bravo. So it is the best explanation how probation benefits both the offender and society. So probation helps the offender to maintain its earning power while reducing the burden on society by lowering incarceration cost. Next question. So what is the primary purpose of post-sentence investigation report in the probation application process? Is it alpha, to justify the defendant's incarceration? Bravo, to serve as an information to assess the defendant's suitability for probation? Charlie, to ensure the probationer report to the probation officer regularly? And Delta, to monitor the probationer's compliance after probation is granted. Okay. So all of you got the correct answer. The answer would be bravo. Take note, that is the purpose of post-sentence investigation report. It will serve as the informational basis whether or not the court will grant or deny the application for probation. Okay? So within how many days kinakandak or within how many days kailangan mag-submit ng PSIR? So according to the rule, okay, dapat within 60 days makapag-submit ng PSIR yung ating parole and probation officer sa trial court. Okay? Next question. So Mr. Dave, a convicted offender qualified to apply for and so what is your answer with this question? Naririnig na ba ako? Bumalik na ba? Sensya na, nawawala yung connection. Nawawala pa rin ba? Bumalik na. Okay na? Oh, sensya na, hindi ako makapunta ng AU at ipit ako sa traffic ng graduation. Kahit naka-single ka na motor, mahirap. So nandito ako ngayon sa gitna ng gubat para lang makapag-typing. Pagpasensyaan nyo na kung paminsan nawawala-wala ako. Pero huwag kayong mag-alala, di ko kayo iiwanan. Babalik at babalik ako para kayo naman yung mag-graduate. Okay? So, ang sagot natin dito, anong sagot natin? Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, or Delta? Okay, the answer is Bravo. Okay, so take note, yung pag-file natin ng application for probation, dapat kailangan convicted na yan, but convicted by means of promulgation of judgment. Okay, so within 15 days, after the promulgation of judgment, po pwede nang mag-file yung ating offender or convicted offender ng kanyang application for probation. Again, the answer within 15 days. Next question. Ayan pala. So, explanation muna. Ayan. Where and when shall the application be filed? So, take note that the application for probation shall be filed with the trial court, okay, that tried and sentenced the offender at any time after conviction. So, within how many days yan? Okay, within 15 days after the promulgation of judgment. So, how to apply for probation? So, the convicted offender must apply within 15 days from the promulgation of judgment. Then, ang gagawin po dyan ni court, kung natatandaan nyo pa, diba, upon receipt of the application by the petitioner, kailangan niyang isuspend yung execution ng sentence, and then he will refer the application to the proper probation office for the conduct of post-sentence investigation within the period of 60 days. Okay, and then after 60 days, wala pa rin ba? Hello, mic test, mic. Ayan, bumalik na ba ako? Nandito na ba ako ulit? Ayan, so after ma-refer yan ni trial court kay proper probation office, ay magkakandak ngayon ng post-sentence investigation yung ating parole and probation officer within the period of 60 days. Okay, so after 60 days or within the period of 60 days, kailangan makapag-submit ng ating probation officer ng PSIR. Okay, and then yung PSIR nga, yan yung magsaserve as the informational basis whether or not i-grant ni trial court yung probation or hindi. Okay? So pending submission of the PSIR and the resolution of the application, the defendant may be temporarily released under bail or be released on recognizance of a responsible member of the community if the defendant is incapable of posting bail. So while waiting for the submission of the PSIR or the resolution, okay, ito pwedeng ma-release yung ating petitioner by means of bail. Kung wala naman siyang kakayahan magbayad ng piyansa, okay, po pwede siyang ma-release on recognizance. Okay? Yun yung po pwedeng mangyari. Next one. So, piliin lang natin which among the following offender is qualified for the grant of probation. Si Talpa, Mr. Dave, currently serving his sentence. Bravo, Mr. Kurt, convicted of a crime against national security. Charlie, Mr. Mark, whose penalty of imprisonment is exact 6 years. And Delta, Mr. Ruiz, who had previously received probation. Okay, so gumagaling na mga kapatid. Okay, so galingan nyo sa CORAD para may pambawi. Ano? Dun sa mga mababang area. Dapat ang CORAD, ang score nyo 101. Para sure ball. Okay, the answer is Charlie. Okay, Mr. Mark, whose penalty of imprisonment is exact 6 years. So take note, si Mr. Dave, kapag currently serving sentence ka na, according to Republic Act 10707, you are disqualified, automatically disqualified kapag ka nagsiserve ng sentence. Ganun din si Mr. Kurt, if your crime committed is against national security, or di kaya naman yung public order, which is the rebellion, sedition, okay, disqualified din yan, automatically disqualified. And of course, Mr. Ruiz is also disqualified kasi nakatanggap na siya ng probation before. So take note that probation can only be granted once. Okay? Next question. Ayan, by the way, ito yung disqualification provided by Republic Act 10707. So, automatic disqualification kapag yung penalty of imprisonment ay lagpas ng 6 na taon. So more than 6 years, automatic disqualification. Ano yung more than 6 years? Diba? Yung 6 years and 1 day up to life imprisonment, automatic disqualified yan. Okay? Convicted of any crime against the national security, then those who have previously been convicted by final judgment of an offense punished by imprisonment of more than 6 months and 1 day or a fine of more than 1,000 pesos. So if you are previously convicted at yung penalty mo ay lumagpas ng 6 months and 1 day or di kaya naman yung fine na binayaran ay lumagpas ng 1,000 pesos, okay, kahit na makonvict ka ulit, okay, or kung makonvict ka man ulit, hindi ka na po pwedeng mag-qualify. Okay? So, po pwede lang mag-qualify yung mga previously convicted if their penalty is below 6 months and 1 day and the fine is below 1,000 pesos. Delta, those who have been on probation under the provisions of this decree So meaning if you are already granted probation before, hindi ka na po pwedeng mabigyan ulit. Sabi ko nga, hindi yan katulad ni Popoy na merong second chance. Sa probation, isang beses lang at hindi ka na po pwedeng pagbigyan ulit. Paragraph E, yung mga nagsiserve na ng sentence. So automatically, kapag ka nabigyan ka na ng Mitimus order, you are already disqualified for the grant of probation. So malinaw tayo dito. Heart emoji kung malinaw. Sige, move forward tayo. Ayan. So which is now the statement that best explains the grant of probation. Again, which statement best explains the grant of probation? So probation is granted by the trial court. The offender must file his petition to the trial court within 15 days before the judgment will become final. Bravo, probation is granted by the trial court. The suspect must file his petition to the trial court within 10 days after the promulgation of judgment. Charlie, probation is granted by the BPP. Diba? Doon pa lang, alam niyo nang mali yan. Okay, probation is not granted by the BPP. So, ang ginagrant po ni BPP or ni Board of Pardons and Parole ay parole ang ginagrant niya. Okay? Then, Delta, probation is granted by the Chief Executive. So, that is also wrong. Kasi ang ginagrant ni Chief Executive or ni President ay Executive Clemency. So, between Alpha and Bravo, what is the correct answer? May sumagot pa ng Bravo. Within 10 days ba ang filing ng probation? Di ba? Hindi naman. Di ba? Ang filing ng petition for probation is within 15 days. So, therefore, the answer is Alpha. Okay, probation is granted by the trial court. The offender must file his petition to the trial court within 15 days before the judgment will become final. Yung term na before the judgment will become final, that is similar with after the promulgation of judgment. Okay? Next question. Yeah. So, if a probationer seeks to travel outside his territorial jurisdiction within the period of more than 30 days, to whom will he or she have the request approved? So, sino mag-a-approve kapag yung probationer ay gustong mag-request for outside travel for more than 30 days? So, iba-ibang sagot. May sumasagot ng Delta, may sumasagot ng Charlie. So, parang nalilito. Take note ha. Parehong may outside travel yung mga paroli at pardoni at probationer. Pero iba yung approving authority when it comes to probation. Okay, so kapag ka more than 30 days na yung travel ng probationer, sino ang mag-a-approve? Okay, so mas marami naman yung tama, yung sagot. Okay, the answer is Delta. Take note ha, kapag ka more than 30 days, yung request for outside travel, okay, trial court na yung mag-a-approve dyan. Ano yung ina-approve ng supervising probation officer natin? Ang ina-approve niya, yung supervising probation officer, yung mga travel na hindi lalagpas ng 10 araw. Okay? So, if it is not more than 10 days, the supervising probation officer has the authority to approve. Kapag ka naman yan, more than 10 days but not exceeding 30 days, okay, more than 10 days but not exceeding 30 days, ang mag-a-approve niyan yung CPPO, okay, yung Chief Probation and Parole Officer. Then kapag tandaan nyo rin kapag lumagpas ng 10 days yung travel outside, kailangan nang mag-file ng request for outside travel or PPA form number 7, 5 days before the intended travel. Okay, so malinaw tayo doon, nakuha nyo? So kapag ka naman yan ay more than 30 days but within 6 months, ang tawag naman natin doon ay courtesy supervision. Sa courtesy supervision naman, magkakaroon ng temporary na paglipat ng jurisdiction yung ating probationer. Yan. So ito, nabanggit ko na kanina. So how many days in advance should a probationer file a travel request for a 15-day trip? So dahil lumagpas na yan ng 10 araw, kailangan niya mag-file ng kanyang request for outside travel. So gagawin niya yan at least 5 days before the intended travel. Okay? Next question. If a prisoner convicted of a crime punishable, may tanong dito, sir, yung mga file, travel request po, that is PPA form number 7, yung request for outside travel, PPA form number 7. Yun ba yung tanong mo, Mr. Jude? Yun ba? Or paano makakapyawan? Nabanggit ko na kanina, pagka probationer, magre-request ng outside travel, kapag ka hindi lalagpas ng 10 days, ang mag-a-approve niyan yung supervising probation officer. If it is more than 10 days naman, but not exceeding 30 days, CPPO. Kapag ka naman more than 30 days na yan, ang mag-a-approve si trial court. Pagka naman more than 30 days, within 6 months, that is considered as courtesy supervision. Okay, so ang tanong yung iba't ibang travel requests later on. Sige, i-discuss natin yan. So for this next question, ano yung sagot nyo? So if a prisoner convicted of a crime punishable by life imprisonment has served the minimum period of their sentence and earned good conduct time allowance, how would the concept of parole apply in determining the likely outcome of their parole application? So what is your answer? Is it Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, or Delta? So Alpha, he will be granted parole since he has served the minimum period and exhibited good behavior. Bravo, he will be denied parole because his sentence exceeds the eligibility requirements. Charlie, he will be released with conditions provided he will serve 1/2 of the maximum of his sentence. And Delta, he will be granted parole only if he files for an appeal. Ano ang sagot dito? Ano yung magiging outcome ng parole application kapag yung crime is punishable by life imprisonment pero na-serve niya naman na yung minimum period ng sentence niya at nakapag-earn pa siya ng good conduct time allowance. So parang hindi niyo ata inintindi ng maigi yung tanong kanina, kaya majority answered Alpha. Okay, so anong sagot niyo talaga dito? Is it Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, or Delta? So marami nang sumasagot ng Bravo, meron din yung Charlie. Ang sagot natin dito is Bravo. Okay, bakit Bravo? Di ba, according to the disqualification provided by the rules, kapag ka yung penalty mo ay death penalty, reclusion perpetua, or life imprisonment, you are automatically disqualified for the grant of parole. So kahit ma-serve mo pa yung minimum period of sentence mo, kahit makapag-earn ka pa ng good conduct time allowance, hindi ka po pwedeng mabigyan ng parole. Kapag ka yung penalty mo ay life imprisonment, reclusion perpetua, or death. Okay? So klaro ba tayo doon? Hindi po pwede, kapag ka life imprisonment, reclusion perpetua, or death. Yung Charlie naman na sinasagot nyo, okay, that is for conditional pardon. Take note, yung parole, ang kailangan niyang i-serve minimum sentence or 1/3 of his sentence. Kapag ka 1/2 na yan, 1/2 of the maximum of his sentence, that is the qualification for the grant of conditional pardon. Okay? So, klaro tayo dito, naiintindihan to? So, intindihin ng maigi yung tanong. Actually, yung ginawa ko dito, panglito lang, yung serve the minimum period of their sentence, tapos nakapag-earn pa ng good conduct time allowance. Ang gusto ko talagang isagot nyo dito, Alpha. Ganun namin kayo nililito, Okay, so tandaan nyo yung disqualification. Okay, kapag nakita niya yung disqualification sa question, automatic na yan. Kahit ma-serve niya pa yung minimum sentence niya, makapag-earn pa yan ng GCTA, hindi po pwede. Okay, next. Ayan, so ito yung disqualification natin for parole. If you are convicted of an offense punished by with death penalty, reclusion perpetua, or life imprisonment, automatic disqualification yan. Kapag yung crime na nakumit mo ay treason, conspiracy, proposal to commit treason or espionage, misprision of treason, rebellion, sedition, kudeta, So balikan natin yung tanong kanina. Let's say for example, if a prisoner convicted of a crime of rebellion and he has served the minimum period of their sentence and earned good conduct time allowance, ganun pa rin yung sagot. Okay, kasi nga rebellion yung nakumit niyang crime. So tandaan niyo yung mga disqualification natin ha. Huwag niyong kakalimutan. Piracy or mutiny on the high seas or Philippine waters. So kapag kaya na habitual delinquents, automatic disqualified din yan. Okay, habitual delinquents, ito yung mga nakakumit ng crime within the span of 10 years. Okay, 3 or more yung nakumit ng crime within the span of 10 years nung mga crime na under nung pretzel. Ano yung pretzel natin? Di ba? We have the falsification, robbery, estafa, theft, serious physical injury, and less serious physical injury. So, automatic disqualified din yung mga tumakas, yung mga nag-escape sa kanilang confinement or tinakasan yung kanilang sentence. Those who were granted conditional pardon and violated any of the terms thereof. So, take note of paragraph H din na kapag yung penalty ay hindi lumagpas ng 1 taon, automatic disqualified yan, or di kaya naman yung mga may definite sentence. Pag sinabi nating definite sentence, ito yung penalty na eksakto. Wala siyang minimum, walang medium, walang maximum. Okay? So yung qualified lang for parole, kailangan exceeding ng 1 year yung kanyang penalty of imprisonment. Another disqualification, those suffering from any mental disorder, yung mga may tama sa pag-iisip, hindi po pwedeng mabigay niyan ng parole. Of course, if their conviction is on appeal, and then yung mga may pending pa na criminal cases, hindi sila po pwedeng mabigyan ng parole. Next. So a prisoner was convicted of robbery 3 times within a span of 8 years. So he has already served the minimum term of his sentence and has shown good behavior in prison. So what is the most likely outcome of his parole application? Yan, so nakakasunod na kayo ng kakaunti. May naligaw na alpa. Bakit? Bakit siya magagrantan ng parole? Bakit siya magagrantan ng parole? Samantalang siya ay convicted ng robbery 3 times within a span of 8 years. Ano ba yung ibig sabihin nun? Kapag ikaw, na-convict ka ng robbery 3 times within a span of 8 years. So, di ba, pasok yan dun sa tinatawag natin na habitual delinquents. Okay, so kung ikaw ay isang habitual delinquent, kahit na ma-serve mo pa yung minimum term ng sentence mo at magpakita ka pa ng good behavior sa loob ng kulungan, you are automatically disqualified for the grant of parole. Okay, so the answer is bravo. So again, sabi ko nga, tandaan nyo yung ating mga disqualification kasi malilito talaga kayo kapag hindi nyo alam yung disqualification kasi mapupukaw yung mga mata nyo at yung isip nyo doon sa already served the minimum term of his sentence and has shown good behavior. Okay, kaya kung minsan kala mo tama ka pero mali pala talaga. Nakuha nyo to, nakasunod kayo dito. So wag na kayong magpapalito. Okay? Next question. Ayan. Which of the following best describes the primary mandate of the Parole and Probation Administration? So alin kaya dyan yung primary mandate ng PPA? Okay, so is it alpha, to promote stricter confinement policies for convicted offenders? Bravo, to supervise offenders in an institutional correction system? Charlie, to conserve and rehabilitate convicted offenders through community-based correction? Or Delta, to replace parole and probation systems with voluntary confinement programs? So may mga hindi, napapansin ko lang hindi nyo tinatapos yung tanong. Siguro ang keyword nyo sa Parole and Probation Administration, supervise lang. Kaya kayo nagkamali. Nagsusupervise ba ng offender ang PPA sa loob ng institutional correction? Sa loob ba sila ng kulungan nagsusupervise? Di ba hindi naman? Okay, intindihin nyo muna yung statements dun sa choices. Okay, lahat ng yan ay panggulo at panglito. para masubok talaga namin kung kaya nyong mag-analyze. Okay, huwag kayong magpapalinlang, huwag kayong mahuhulog sa aming mga bitag. Okay, palaging intindihin ang tanong. The answer for this question is Charlie. Okay, to conserve and rehabilitate convicted offenders through community-based correction. So, supervision naman talaga. Sila naman talaga yung nagsusupervise ng offender, pero hindi sa institutional correction. Okay, nagsusupervise sila ng offender within the community-based correction or non-institutional correction. Klaro tayo doon? Makisend ka ng heart emoji kung klaro tayo doon. So, next question. Ay, sobra yata ilipat. Ayan. So, what is the board's responsibility in this scenario? So, is it Alpha approve his parole based on eligibility alone? Bravo denies parole and recommend a longer sentence. Charlie delay his parole and require further rehabilitation. Or Delta recommend him for executive clemency instead. Anong sagot dito? So majority answered Charlie, may sumagot din ng Bravo. Dahil ba si Mark ay may psychological evaluation na it indicates unresolved anger issue, i-deny ba natin yung parole at magre-recommend tayo ng longer sentence? Tama naman yung deny his parole, pero mali kasi yung recommend a longer sentence. Napaka-bias naman nun para kay Mark. Kawawa naman si Mark, tahimik lang yan. Diba? Si Mark ay tahimik lang, bakit mo naman siya re-recommendan ng longer sentence? Wag naman. Tama naman yung deny his parole, pero wag kayong makontain doon. Okay? Di porke nakita mo yung deny his parole, yun na yung tama. Okay, so the most possible, the best answer for this question is Charlie. Okay, o pwede nating i-delay yung parole niya and then we need to require further rehabilitation kasi nga meron siyang psychological evaluation na unresolved anger issue. Maawa kayo kay Mark, yung mga sumagot ng recommend the longer sentence. Maawa kayo sa tao. Talugdan nyo naman yung tao. Okay? So wala, hindi rin po pwedeng maging sagot yung Delta. May anger issue na nga, i-recommend mo ba for executive clemency? Hindi rin po pwede. Okay? Next question. Ayan, yung travel outside naman ng paroli. So which of the following allows a paroli to travel outside their area of jurisdiction for more than 30 days? Okay, so kapag kaya na yung more than 30 days, take note, that is the approval coming from the regional director. Paano kung below 30 days? Paano kung below 30 days? Anong magiging sagot? Ayan. So kapag ka walang 30 days yan, approval from the CPPO. Okay? Pero kapag kayan ay more than 30 days, ang mag-a-approve niyan ay regional director. Okay? Ayan. So that is according to section 35 about jurisdiction for a period of not more than 30 days. Then yung travel naman na more than 30 days, it shall be approved by the regional director. Okay? By the way, nababanggit yung word na client. Ang ibig sabihin ng client, under na sila ng supervision ng parole and probation administration. Next one. So, parole officer Kulas noticed that a parolee had not reported within the first 15 days of his release. So, what is the probation officer's immediate responsibility for the said situation according to the guidelines? So, yung parolee ay hindi nag-report within 15 days after his release. Okay, so ano ang gagawin ni parole officer Kulas? Kailangan niya bang i-notify yung parolee's family? Kailangan niya bang mag-conduct ng home visit to locate the parolee? Or i-inform yung court? Diba? Yung delta, wala lang ano yan, kinalaman. Kasi parol lang pinag-uusapan natin dito, wala nang kinalaman dyan yung court. Kapag ka parol lang pinag-uusapan, ang kailangan mong i-inform dyan, dapat yung Board of Pardons and Parole. So, eliminate na natin yung delta. Okay, so between Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie, kung kayo si parole officer Kulas, anong gagawin nyo? Of course, ang gagawin nyo is you need to inform the board or the Board of Pardons and Parole of the parolee's failure to report. Okay? So kapag yan ay hindi nag-report within 15 days after his release from confinement, ano yung gagawin mong report? Okay, so ano yung gagawin na report ni Parole Officer Kulas? Ang gagawin niyang report ay violation report. Kasi ang na-violate dyan yung conditions dun sa release document. Paano naman kung nagpakita, okay, or nag-report yung ating parolee within 15 days after his release from confinement? Ano naman yung gagawin ng parole officer? Ang kailangan niya namang gawin doon ay i-inform niya rin yung board natin by submitting arrival report immediately. Okay? So, kung nagpakita, gagawa ng arrival report. So, ipapile yan kay board immediately. Kapag ka naman hindi nag-report within 15 days, violation report yan. Okay? So, nakasunod kayo doon. Next question. Ayan. Ayan pala. Okay, yun yung explanation natin. Ano? Pag hindi nagpakita yung parole natin within 15 days, kailangan i-inform yung board by submitting violation report. Kapag ka naman yan ay nagpakita, ang gagawin dyan ay arrival report. So, isasubmit yan yung arrival report immediately. Hindi na kayo-specify kung ilang araw. Ang nilagay doon sa rule natin, immediately. Okay? Next. So while under supervision, Ms. Bruja, a parolee, is charged with a new offense and her case is still pending in court. So what type of report should her probation and parole officer submit? So ang keyword natin dito, nakakumit ng new offense, yung parolee, and then the case is still pending in court. Ano ang report na isasubmit? Nako, nagkagulo na ang madlang people. May sumagot ng Alpha, may sumagot ng Delta, may Charlie, may Bravo. So, ang ibig sabihin, hindi pa klaro sa inyo anong pinagkaiba ng apat na report na yan. Okay? So, ang sagot natin dito, status report. Okay? Status report. So, tandaan nyo, kapag ka progress report yan, that is referring to the conduct of the parolee while under supervision. Ang purpose niyan para ma-monitor kung nagiging law-abiding ba yung ating parolee while under supervision. So from time to time, sinasubmit yan. Progress report ang tawag doon. Status report, kailan yan isasubmit ng parole officer? Isasubmit yan kapag yung parolee nakakumit ng crime or another offense while under supervision, but keyword natin dito, it is not yet decided by the court, meaning it is still pending in court. Status report ang isasubmit. Okay, kapag ka naman yung ating parolee ay nakaumit ng crime while under supervision and it was already decided by the court, meaning nagkaroon na ng conviction, infraction report na yung isasubmit. And then yung violation report naman, it is submitted when a parolee commits any violation of the terms and conditions under release document. Okay, so nakuha nyo na yung pinagkaiba ng apat. Huwag na kayong magpapalito. Baka lumabas yan sa P2 exam. Napaka-simple lang yan. Okay, again, progress report, conduct nung parolee. So kung ang tinutukoy sa situation, yung pagiging mabait nung parolee, ano yung isasubmit na report? Progress report yan. Okay, kailan isasubmit yung status report? Kapag ka nakakumit ng offense yung parolee pero hindi pa decided ng korte. Kailan isasubmit yung infraction report? Nakakumit ng crime yung parolee at decided na yan or convicted na of another crime yung ating parolee. Infraction report na yan. Violation report naman kapag ka naka-violate ng terms and condition appearing doon sa kanyang release document. Okay? So, klaro tayo dito, naintindihan? Okay. Salamat naman sa internet at marunong makisama, hindi nawawala. Ayan. So, siguro i-discuss na rin natin dito, baka wala na sa slide yung tinatanong kanina ni Mr. Jude. Yung PPA form number 1, kung natatandaan nyo pa, that is also known as investigation worksheet. Yung PPA form number 1. PPA form number 2 naman, that is waiver cum authorization. Okay, ulitin ko, PPA form number 2, waiver cum authorization. Yung PPA form number 3 natin, that is post-sentence investigation report. So PPA form number 3 is PSIR or post-sentence investigation report. Yung PPA form number 4, that is also known as instructions to probationer. Ulitin ko, PPA form number 4, instructions to probationer. PPA form number 5 is monthly caseload summary report. Again, PPA form number 5, monthly caseload summary report. PPA form number 7, request for outside travel. Okay, yung PPA form number 8 naman is violation report. Then yung PPA form number 9 natin, that is also known as probation officer's final report or final report. Kahit final report lang, pwede na yan, tama na yon. Okay? Then PPA form number 24, ayan yung request for change of residence. So yun yung mga madalas na maaaring lumabas sa long quiz or exam. Okay? Next question. When a probation and parole officer submits an infraction report, which of the following actions can the board take based on the information provided in the reports? So is it Alpha, recommend the reduction in the parole supervision period? Bravo, order the arrest or recommitment of the client? Charlie, issue a warning to the parolee without further action? And Delta, automatically revoke the parolee's pardon. Okay, so majority answered Bravo. What about the others? Ano yung sagot nyo? Okay, so the answer for this question is Bravo. Take note kapag ka na-receive na ni Board of Pardons and Parole yung infraction report, ang gagawin niya dyan ay kailangan niya nang i-order yung arrest at yung recommitment ng ating client. Okay? Tanong natin, kapag ba recommitted yung client natin, pwede pa ba siyang mabigyan ulit ng parole? So yes or no? Yes, heart emoji. No, thumbs up. Ulitin ko yung tanong ha. Kapag ba yung ating parolee ay recommitted, pwede pa ba siyang mabigyan ng parole? Yes or no? Okay, so majority answered no. No daw kasi thumbs up. Ay, mali kayo dyan. Diba? May tinuro ba kung hindi siya pwedeng mabigyan ulit ng parole kapag ka-recommitted siya? Diba? Ala. Ang tinuro ko, meron. Pwede. Okay? Kahit na recommitted na yung ating client, so pwede ulit siyang mabigyan ng parole provided na maserve niya yung 1/4 nung kanyang remaining sentence. Take note ha, o pwede ulit siyang mabigyan ng parole kahit na yan ay recommitted. Okay? Provided na maserve niya yung 1/4 nung kanyang remaining sentence. So, klaro tayo doon, na-gets nyo? Naintindihan nyo? So, po pwede po ha, po pwede, po pwede. So, tandaan, itatak sa isipan, po pwede siyang mabigyan ng parole kahit recommitted yan. Basta maserve niya yung 1/4 ng kanyang sentence, remaining sentence. Next question. So, if a parolee is recommitted to prison, what is the consequence regarding their remaining sentence? Ano yung magiging consequence kapag ka-recommitted yung ating parolee? Sit original sentence that they were convicted of Delta, they will have their sentence reduced for good behavior. So, process of elimination, eliminate na natin yung alpha at yung delta. Okay? Kasi hindi lang half ng remaining sentence ang kailangan niyang i-serve. At hindi rin, of course, mabibigyan ng reduction yan. Okay? Kasi nga, recommitted. Ibig sabihin, nakakommit ng ano yan, ng violation. So, for alpha and delta, eliminate na natin yan. So, Bravo and Charlie ang pagpipilian, ano yung pinakatamang sagot. Charlie ba, kailangan ba nilang i-serve yung kanilang original sentence? Let's say, for example, bago siya mabigyan ng parol, 10 years muna yung sinerve niya sa loob ng kulungan. Nung mabigyan ng parol at na-recommit, so isi-serve niya ulit yung original, ganun ba? Eh, hindi na original sentence. Ang pag-serve ng original sentence, kapag ka na-revoke, okay, ay applicable yan kay probation. Pero since parole ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, ang mangyayari dyan, ang isi-serve na lang nila yung remaining na unexpired portion ng kanilang sentence. So take note hindi original sentence yung isi-serve nila, but rather, ang isi-serve na lang nila yung remaining unexpired portion of their sentence. So klaro tayo doon? Okay. Next question. So in Charlie, that is for probation. Okay? Under what conditions can the board recommend the cancellation of a client's pardon or parole? So according to the rule, ano kaya yung condition wherein the BPP may recommend the cancellation of a client's pardon or parole? Okay, so majority got the correct answer. Ito yung reason or condition wherein the board or the BPP may recommend the cancellation of a client's pardon or parole kapag nagsinungaling, ayan, or nagbigay ng false or incomplete material information to the BPP. So that is according to Section 42, okay, cancellation of pardon or parole. So the BPP or the board may recommend the cancellation of the pardon or cancel the grant of parole of a client if it finds that material information given by said client to the board is either before and after release was false or incomplete, or that the client had willfully or maliciously concealed material information from the board. So yun yung mangyayari. Okay? Next. Mr. X applied for conditional pardon while his conviction is under appeal. So what would happen according to the constitutional limitation? So kapag kasi X ay nag-apply ng conditional pardon pero okay, under appeal pa yung kanyang conviction, eh anong mangyayari according to constitutional limitation? Okay? O, yan. Tama. Tama ang inyong mga naging pasya at sagot. The answer would be Bravo. Okay? So according to our constitution, that is one of the limitation. Kapag ka hindi ba convicted by means of final judgment, yung isang offender ay hindi ho yan po pwedeng mabigyan ng executive clemency. Okay? So the petition will be denied and not be entertained. Okay? What about for this question? If Maria had been convicted for tax evasion, would the president have been able to grant the pardon? Sit alpha? Yes, because the president can pardon individuals convicted of non-tax crime. B, no, because the president cannot pardon anyone convicted of tax evasion. Charlie. Yes, because the court can pardon individuals convicted of non-tax crime. And Delta, no. Because only the courts can decide on the release of prisoner convicted of non-tax crime. Before we proceed, heart, wala. Tao po, heart emoji, heart. Ayan, bumalik na ako. Again, heart emoji kung narinig ako ng maayos. Yun. So again, the answer for this question is no. Take note, hindi rin po pwedeng i-grant ang executive clemency, okay, kapag ang offender ay convicted ng tax evasion. Okay? Yan. So these are the following limitations of the pardoning power of the President. Parang hindi ko ito nabanggit during our face-to-face discussion. So kindly, take down notes. So, limitations of the pardoning power of the President. Hindi yan po pwede for offenses in impeachment cases. So that is according to Article 7, Section 10 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution. Also, according to the Constitution, it may be exercised only after conviction by final judgment. So meaning, anong ibig sabihin nun? O pwede lang i-grant yung pardon kapag convicted na by final judgment. So sabi dito, kapag ongoing pa yung trial, hindi pa po pwedeng mabigyan ng pardon yan. Kailangan there is conviction by final judgment. So also, it may not be exercised over civil contempt. Ano yung example ng civil contempt? Example, as for refusing to answer a proper question as a witness in a case. Katulad nung ginawa ni Napoles. That is a civil contempt. Di ba? Nung tinatanong siya, nung mga questions, ang palagi niyang sinasabi, I invoke my right against self-incrimination. Hindi po pwede yun. Okay? Then, in case of violation of election law or rules and regulation, hindi rin po pwedeng i-grant ang executive clemency. Okay? So, as a general rule, hindi po pwede. Kailan lang siya magiging pwede. Okay? Magiging pwede yan kapag may favorable recommendation coming from the COMELEC. And also, it cannot be exercised in violation of taxation law or tax law. Okay? So that is the limitations of the pardoning power of the President. So, klaro ba tayo doon? Maintindihan? Yeah. Next question. So, within how many days that the pardonee need to report and present himself into probation and parole officer? So, ilang araw ni binibigay kay pardonee para i-present yung kanyang sarili after his release from confinement? Okay, so the correct answer is Bravo. Okay. Ano naman yung initial reporting para dun sa probation? Okay, for probation, ang initial reporting dyan is 72 hours or 3 days. Kapag natanggap na nila yung probation order, kailangan within 72 hours or within 3 days makapag-report na yan sa kanyang probation and parole officer. Pero iba yung kaso kapag parolee at pardonee. Okay, so si parolee or si pardonee, kapag na-release na sila from confinement, meron silang 15 days para mag-report sa kanilang probation and parole officer. Okay. Next question. So one is granted executive clemency by the President. The document evidencing the clemency is sent to the Bureau of Correction. So upon receiving it, the director immediately takes action to implement the grant. So what should the director do next? Si Alpha inform the prisoner of his release without explaining the condition and consequences of those violations. Bravo immediately release the prisoner without imposing conditions and terms. Charlie read the conditions of pardon to the prisoner and ensure they understand the consequences of violating those conditions. For Delta, only notify the prisoner's family about the clemency without informing the prisoner himself. Okay, so ito naman ay common sense question, a positive and negative question. Ang tinatanong dito ay positive, so therefore ang pipiliin lang natin ay positive doon sa choices. So yung tatlo dyan, which is the alpha, bravo, and delta are negative. Diba? Hindi naman po pwedeng hindi natin i-explain sa prisoner yung kanyang condition and consequences. Hindi rin naman po pwede yung immediately release kahit hindi na natin bigyan ng condition. Hindi kaya naman, ang ino-notify natin, prisoner's family, hindi ganun. Okay? So the correct answer is Charlie. We need to read the conditions of pardon to the prisoner and we need to ensure they understand the consequences of violating those conditions. Next. Remembering question, refer to a general pardon given to groups of people and is typically used by the executive branch with the approval of the Congress. So, nandun na, approval or concurrence of the Congress. Ayan yung mga keyword nyo for amnesty, approval of the Congress or concurrence of the Congress, general pardon, ayan, general pardon can be granted to group of people, ayan. So, the answer would be amnesty. So among all the types of executive clemency, yung amnesty lang yung po pwedeng i-grant before, during, and after trial. Pero yung pardon, reprieve, commutation, po pwede lang i-grant yan kapag meron ng finality of conviction. Okay? So automatic ba kapag group of people, amnesty na kaagad ang i-grant? Siyempre hindi. Kailangan they are a group of people and then yung nakumit nilang crime ay against national security or public order. Katulad nga nung rebellion, kudeta, and sedition. Okay, so hindi po pwede dito yung grupo ng mga magnanakaw or grupo ng mamamatay tao. Okay, kailangan yung mga grupo na ang kanilang krimen na nagawa ay may kinalaman sa pagtataksil sa bayan. So, klaro tayo doon sa executive clemency. Apat lang yan yung types ng executive clemency. Okay, we have the pardon, amnesty, reprieve, and commutation of sentence. So, for pardon, we have two kinds, absolute and conditional. Diba? Pag absolute yan, that is without condition. Kapag ka-conditional naman, of course, that is with conditions. Reprieve, on the other hand, that is the temporary withholding of sentence. Ang ibig sabihin dyan, pinagpapaliban lang ang sentensya or punishment. Okay? Kapag ka naman commutation, from the word itself, pinapababa, okay? Reducing, degrading, lowering sentence, yung commutation. Then amnesty naman, amnesty is granted to group of people who committed political crimes. So, yun yung term na kailangan nyo din tandaan. Kailangan political crimes. So, klaro tayo doon? Heart emoji kung klaro tayo. Pag sinabi natin absolute pardon, that is one of the total extinction of criminal liability wherein it is granted without any condition. Kapag ka naman conditional pardon, it is conditional when it is granted by the President or Chief Executive but subject to conditions imposed on the recipient and accepted by him. Reprieve, on the other hand, that is the temporary stay of the execution of a sentence. Okay? Next. So what distinguishes total extinction of criminal liability from partial extinction of criminal liability? So is it alpha? Total extinction removes both criminal and civil liabilities, while partial extinction only reduces the penalty. Bravo, total extinction ends the penalty entirely, while partial extinction allows the penalty to be modified or reduced. Charlie, total extinction occurs only after death, while partial extinction applies to financial penalties. And Delta, total extinction requires court ruling, while partial extinction happens automatically after conviction. So, applying the process of elimination, hindi ho po pwedeng maging sagot ang Delta. Okay? So, hindi nagre-require ng court ruling ang total extinction of criminal liability. Eliminate natin yan. Charlie, Total extinction occurs only, sabi dyan, only after death. Di ba? Hindi naman. Kasi napakarami yan eh. Napakaraming grounds for total extinction of criminal liability. Po pwedeng by means of amnesty, by means of absolute pardon, by means of death, by means of partial extinction, by means of prescription of crime, by means of prescription of penalty, and by means of marriage of the offended woman. Di ba? So, hindi lang only after death. So, between Alpha and Bravo, the correct answer is Bravo. Okay? So, total extinction ends the penalty entirely, while partial extinction allows the penalty to be modified or reduced. Bakit hindi naging sagot yung Alpha kahit mukhang tama? Okay, bakit hindi naging sagot yung Alpha? Kasi po, ang nawawala lang doon is yung criminal liability, pero yung civil liability ay nandoon pa rin. So, hindi na-end ng total extinction yung civil liability. Okay, katulad na lang dun sa pardon. Oo, mawawala yung kanyang criminal liability, pero mananatili yung civil liability. Same with death. Okay, kapag yung isang tao, convicted na yan by final judgment at namatay, ang na-eradicate lang doon, criminal liability. Pero yung civil liability, hindi. Okay, kailangan niya pa rin yung bayaran. Nagets nyo? Nakuha nyo ba? Heart nga kung nakuha. Take note sa total extinction, ang na-end doon yung penalty or criminal liability. Hindi po nawawala yung civil liability kahit na yan ay under ng total extinction. Okay? Next. So a judge is considering a case where an offender has committed a nonviolent crime. So based on the Tokyo rules, which action would align with the principles of reducing imprisonment? So by the way, Tokyo rules that is applicable for community-based treatment program or non-institutional correction. So is it Alpha sentencing the offender to the maximum prison term available? Bravo granting bail and allowing the offender to leave the country? Charlie imposing rehabilitation programs instead of incarceration? Or Delta keeping the offender in solitary confinement for behavioral reform? Take note pag sinabi nating Tokyo rules, again, ginagamit yan for community-based or non-institutional. Okay? So with dun sa nasa choices, alin lang ba dyan yung covered ng community-based or non-institutional? Of course, Charlie. Okay? Imposing rehabilitation programs instead of incarceration. So doon sa international rule, meron tayong tatlong sinusunod. Diba? We have the Mandela rules or the Nelson Mandela rules, we have the Tokyo rules, and we have the Beijing rule. So tandaan nyo yung tatlong international rule na yan. Yung Nelson Mandela rule, applicable yan for institutional correction. Okay, ulitin ko, Nelson Mandela rule for institutional correction. Yung Tokyo rules naman, non-institutional correction. And then yung Beijing naman, yung Beijing rule, para yan sa mga minor, sa mga juvenile delinquents. Okay, nakasunod kayo doon? Nakuha nyo? Okay. Next question. So which behavior would most likely qualify a prisoner for GCPA credits? Si Talpa, maintaining silence during prison inspection. Bravo, actively participating in rehabilitation programs. Charlie, requesting reduction in sentence through appeals. And Delta, avoiding conflicts with other prisoners. Heart emoji kung naririnig ako. Nako. Ayan, naririnig na ba ako? Iyon. So, anong sagot nyo dito? Which behavior would most likely qualify a prisoner for GCPA credits? The answer would be bravo. Okay? If they are actively participating in rehabilitation programs. So, all choices po pwedeng maging tama yan, pero ang hahanapin palagi natin yung pinaka-the best. Kasi kapag kaya ay actively participating in rehabilitation program, meaning they are, kumbaga, ini-employ nyo na rin yung maintaining silence during prison inspection, nag-avoid na rin siya ng conflict with other prisoners. So, over niya na lahat yan. So, the best answer is bravo. Okay? Next. What time allowance should be granted to a prisoner who studied, teach, or mentored while serving sentence? C. Alpha, TAS TM, B. STAL, C. GCTA and Delta, CTI or Credit for Preventive Imprisonment. Marami pang nalito dito. Time allowance na ginagrant natin kapag ka nag-aral, nagturo, or nag-mentor. Bakit iba-iba ang sagot? Bakit may sumasagot ng Charlie? Ang GCTA, ginagrant yan kapag may good behavior, okay, yung ating prisoner, okay, while under supervision. Okay? So, ang deduction natin dyan, during the first up to the second year is 2 years. Kapag ka naman third up to the fifth year, 23 days yung deduction yan. Kapag ka naman 6 to 10, diba, that is 25 days. And then kapag ka naman 11th and succeeding years, that is 30 days. So, ang tamang sagot dito, TAS TM. Tandaan nyo, TAS TM. Okay? So, kapag ka ikaw ay nag-aral, nagturo, or nag-mentor while serving your sentence, okay, meron kang additional deduction na 15 days. At ang tawag natin doon, TAS TM, time allowance for studying, teaching, and mentoring. So yung STAL, kailan siya ginagrant? Kapag ka nagkaroon ng sakuna at tumakas, ayan, yung ating prisoner but within 48 hours after the declaration of passing away of calamity, bumalik, di ba? Eh, mabibigyan siya ng STAL or Special Time Allowance for Loyalty. That is 1/5, di ba? Kapag ka tumakas pero bumalik within 48 hours after the passing away of calamity. And then 2/5 naman or 40% kapag ka naman siya ay nanatili kahit na may sakuna or kalamidad. Eh, paano naman yung credit for preventive imprisonment? Ginagrant yan para po yan sa mga detainee. Okay? Kailan po pwedeng mabigyan ng full credit for preventive imprisonment yung mga detention prisoner natin? Kapag ka nag-sign sila ng PDL's manifestation. Okay? So, nakuha nyo to? Nakasunod kayo dito? So, next natin, ayan. All escape inmates during calamity shall be surrendered within how many hours to earn a deduction of 1/5. So, nabanggit ko na kanina, kailangan within 48 hours after the declaration of passing away of calamity, ay makabalik at meron silang deduction na 1/5. Ang 1/5, equivalent niyan 20%. Yung 2/5 naman, ang equivalent nun, 40%. Okay? So, sino yung po pwedeng mag-declare ng passing away or declaration of passing away of calamity? So, dalawa yan. Ang po pwedeng mag-declare dyan is yung ating chief executive or the president and the local chief executive or the governor or and mayor. Okay? Next. Anong sagot dito? If a prisoner has been imprisoned for 4 years and displays exemplary behavior during that time, how many days of reduction would they qualify for each month, okay, during the 3rd to 5th year? Mukhang yan. Okay? Naririnig ba ako? Parang di na naman ako naririnig. O na-late lang ng konti. So, tama yung naging sagot nyo. That is 23 days. Okay? So again, kapag During the first up to the second year, 20 days. During the third up to the fifth year, 23 days yan. 6 to 10, that is 25 days. And then 11, ang next. So which of the voluntarily signs PDL's manifestation? Narinig na ba ako ulit ng maayos? Konti na lang, 3 slides na lang. Naririnig na ako ng maayos. Mic test. Nako, yari. Lost connection. Ay. Ayan. So, ano sagot natin dito? Okay, the answer is alpha. So take note, hindi po pwedeng mabigyan ng full credit for preventive imprisonment yung mga recidivists. Yung Charlie naman, yung habitual delinquents, hindi rin po pwede. O di kaya yung Delta has been summoned for the execution of his sentence and surrendered in voluntarily. Yung mga hindi kusang sumuko. Hindi sila yung mga po pwedeng hindi mabigyan ng full credit. Pero mabibigyan pa rin sila ng credit for preventive imprisonment pero for PIP lang. Okay? Ayan. So, preventive imprisonment, that is a temporary confinement in prison while undergoing investigation or trial or awaiting final judgment. That is preventive imprisonment. Credit naman, credit for preventive imprisonment, that is the time credited for the temporary confinement in jail or prison while undergoing investigation or trial or awaiting final judgment. So, applicable lang yung credit for preventive imprisonment, take note, para yan sa mga detainees natin. Para lang yan sa mga detention prisoner. So these are the following grounds for the entitlement of 100%. Kailangan nag-sign ng manifestation or PDL's manifestation. Hindi dapat recidivist, hindi dapat habitual delinquent, at dapat kusa siyang sumuko. Okay? So PDL's manifestation, that is a written declaration of a PDL with the assistance of a counsel to abide by the same disciplinary rules imposed upon a prisoner. So kapag ka naman hindi qualified for full credit yung ating prisoner, mabibigyan lang siya ng 4/5. So instead of manifestation, ang sinasign niya dyan, waiver. Okay? So kapag ka recidivist, hindi rin yan mabibigyan. Kapag ka habitual delinquent, hindi mabibigyan. Okay? So that is the end of my presentation for non